Let's say we brought you in to address a room of, let's say, 20 students. I don't know. And they're about to make their first feature.
Yeah.
They've already made a few shorts.
Sure.
What are you telling them? What's your advice to them?
Have they written their scripts?
Let's say half of them have.
Half of them have. Okay, I'll answer half of your question first.
Okay, that
and
sounds
then
good.
I'll ask you another question.
Okay.
For the half that haven't written them yet, I would say write what you can shoot, and shoot what you can cut, and cut what you can finish. Because from my experience, I started writing ideas and then scripts that weren't in the realm of possibility of making or producing. So I didn't waste time. My approach was to write material that I wanted to see and that I wanted to make. And that's great if you're writing scripts on spec, but not if you're going to write a script to make a film. Write what you can shoot. And so if you can shoot it, then you better be able to cut it. So don't try to shoot an action movie if you can't cut an action movie, because the last part will be true, which is you won't finish it. The only reason I have a career is because I finished a film first, and then I became more and more and more ambitious, finishing things along the way. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he said 70% of all features are not finished. And so I think it's very hard when you tell a film student or a fan of film that, hey man, your kung fu action movie is not going to happen right now. You should do a bank heist movie that ends in a diner and don't show the heist or something like that. So it's a matter of shoot or write what you can shoot and then finish it and make sure it's done. And then it will be a tool, it will be a calling card for you to move forward. But nobody cares about your career if you can't finish anything. Second question, or the second half of the group, I would say if their scripts are done, are they financed? Do they have capital? Do they have investors? Is the process they're in pre-production, or is the process they're in financing?
Okay, let's suppose most of them will be either getting money from family and friends,
Sure.
putting it on a credit card, or some will try their attempt at crowdfunding. It doesn't mean they will be successful.
Yeah. If they're at a stage where they're going to get film financing, I would sit down and have a conversation with yourself or with your team, depending on how you're working. If you're working with a team of producers and you guys are all a unit, well, then talk about it together. If you're not, if you're just some rogue dude or a gal and you're just going to do this shit like Robert Rodriguez, then just have this conversation with yourself. And that is, what are you going to do with the film? It has to have a purpose. It has to have an audience. So you have to think, okay, I'm going to make this film and I'm going to submit it to Sundance. Or I'm going to make this film and I'm going to submit it to a horror film festival. Or I'm going to make this film and I'm going to use it to go get an advertising commercial director job. It has to have a purpose. Because before you can figure out how much an investment in this project is worth, it has to have a value. And the value has to be its goal, right? So its goal is I want it to festival, and who knows what will happen. Okay, great. Well, when you talk to people about helping you, that's your vision. Your vision is, I'm going to tell you about two people in a canoe in this horror movie. It's like, no, they want to hear about what you're going to do with it when it's done. They don't really care about how you're going to make it. They really don't, because they're not you. Also, if you know what you're going to do with it, then you can justify something like putting it on your credit card, which I would not advise to anyone. I know someone who did that years ago. She went into $60,000 of debt, credit card wise. The movie went nowhere. She was paying that off for 10 years. Oh. And she didn't have a goal with the film, which is one of her challenges. And also it just sort of it became a pet project, a vanity project, instead of a project she could really stand behind. If you're using someone else's money, there's also a sense of duty to finish. So if you are asking for family and friends and stuff like that to help you, if they do give you the money, there's a sense of debt, which is good to them. Crowdfunding, I don't know anything about that. I don't know. I have no idea how that really works. My guess is the only way you get crowdfunding is if you have a flash teaser or a flash trailer or something that can tell a stranger that their money should be in your pocket. I know people have done it before. I've seen some teasers for it. You know, success is probably all over the map about it. But yeah, I would definitely say the first thing is to figure out what they're going to do with the film so that it legitimizes the investment and doesn't become a vanity project. And then the last thing I would say to a group full of filmmakers who's about to start is communication it can be really hard if it's your art. It can be really hard if it's your work. But if you're working with the right people, they're all going to make your vision a reality. Don't be a fucking diva. We've all met those people. We've all met the people who either went to USC Film School or they went to a filmmaking class on a weekend and they are a diva. No one wants to work for you if you're a diva. 0 people want to work for you. And even less people want to work for you day 2. So you have to figure out, hey, I'm in pre-production. Hey, I got some money. Hey, I got really good insurance. And I have really good people. And those are the people that work super duper hard. I know people who are very successful who still work on no money projects all the time if they like the people. And chances are that everyone I'm talking to is in that boat. So I would spend time getting to know the people who are on your crew really well. You know, I wouldn't put director on your fucking chair. People put director on their chair and it's like, that's so stupid. Years ago, a woman I was dating, her mother bought me a director's chair and she was a very wealthy person and she had it embroidered. It said director and I had my name on it and I put it in storage and now it's gone. I never ever took it on a set, ever. Because 1, if you're a good director, you're not sitting in that chair, ever. And 2, nobody cares. The last thing I would tell people who want to have a long future in the business is find out what the people at your camera house and your grip and electric house and your truck rental house and maybe the people who do film permits, find out what they like to drink and buy it. I don't know how many bottles of scotch or champagne or cubes of beer I've bought for people who never forgot that, hey, this is the guy who's always grateful for my help, right? And that's what matters, you know, especially if you're underfunded, is that you really care about all the people around you and all the people that get to decide if you get to make your film. So, yeah.
And the one last curveball would be
Sure.
somebody who wants to make a feature, they don't have any plans to do anything with it, they just want the experience. So, and it's not really a vanity project in that they're not totally casting themselves, they just want to know what it's
Right.
like from start to finish to make a film.
And what's the question exactly?
The question
Sorry.
is, what are their set of parameters? How are they doing it differently? Or is it all the same? It doesn't really matter.
I think that I have met no one in my life who's wealthy enough to make a movie by themselves for fun and have no goal. The only person I can think of in history is like Howard Hughes. And so I don't think I would be able to give any advice to a person who had a trust fund and thought it would be fun to make a film, because even if they have a lot of money and time, and they're creative. And even if they're super nice, they're still going to be engaging with a lot of other people on their crew. They're going to be renting things in order to make this experience possible. And all of the parameters around respect and all the parameters around gratitude apply to them anyway. The only caution I would give someone who's doing it for fun is probably easy for you to waste other people's time. And I learned, I think it was the first couple of weeks I was in LA, I learned how long it took to get from one place to another, right? And I was late to a couple meetings. I wasted a couple of people's time. And they made it super clear to never do that again. So I hope that this rich, fictional, phantom person who's making a movie for fun pays people a lot of money and doesn't waste their time. Yeah.